Hello and welcome back to Launch With Me. This is the free series where I am documenting all the behind the scenes of a brand new launch in my multiple six-figure business so that you can see what it looks like. This is actually our very last video in this series. So if you haven't already, definitely be sure to go to the link in the description below this video and sign up for this series for free. Doing so gives you access to a totally free Google Doc where I have made notes after every single one of these videos in this series that basically gives you the whole outline of my launching strategy. Also, if you want access to bonus audios and extra resources that accompany this series that I couldn't quite fit into all these videos and that I shared with the people who purchased the VIP upgrade of Launch With Me, then again, head to that same link in the description below this video. There you will have the option to get the self-paced version of the Launch With Me VIP experience. It is so valuable. The people inside of the VIP launch experience who did this live with me got so much out of what I shared with them there, and I would love to get to share that with you whenever you're ready. Again, all of that is at the link in the description below this video. With this last video of the Launch With Me series, I'm going to share the results of my launch that we've been doing here together with you right now. So let's dive into it. So as of the time of recording this video, my launch for the Wealth by membership closed just a few days ago. So that means that enrollment is closed, no one else can join until enrollment reopens at the end of this month, and so I want to share the final numbers with you. In this first enrollment period, we had 38 people sign up as paying members for the Wealth by membership. So I hit my goal, which is great. Between 20 to 50 people enrolled for this first round of enrollment for the Wealth by membership. And the numbers for that break down to be, when we have 38 people at $25 a month, that is $950 a month. If we average at least 38 people in the membership ongoingly for a year, that is $11,400 a year from just my membership. And the membership maybe only takes me about 6 to 10 hours a month to run. Honestly, it's probably more like 6 to 8 hours a month. It's pretty low maintenance for me. So that's not bad. I'm pretty happy with those numbers. But the even better thing is that these numbers are going to continue to grow because, as you know, if you've been with me this whole series, the Wealth by membership is something that I'm going to reopen enrollment for at the end of every month. And ideally, we will be trending upwards. We will continue to have the membership grow. And of course, people may leave at any time. So I'm not going to go around and say that I made 5 figures in sales with this launch, because I didn't, because at any time people could leave. There's no guarantee that they will continue to stay and pay for a whole year or longer. But over time, this will trend up. Over time, the more I market, the more I hone in on this messaging, the more I dial in on what I'm selling with the Wealth by membership and really communicating it in the most clear and concise ways possible, the more that I launch it and talk about it in different ways and have different funnels and have different ways people can find the membership and reach a bigger and bigger audience with the various free events that I can do whenever I open up enrollment, this will grow. And this will become even more and more profitable and something that I can easily scale up over time. So my long-term goal with the Wealth by membership is to eventually grow it to the point where it has at least 1,000 members. I'm really excited to get to that point. It might take me a year, 2 years, we'll see, but that's the long-term vision with this membership, and I'm really, really excited for it. So now that I've shared the numbers with you, I want to go over a couple other things before we wrap up this video and this series. What I want to start with is this idea of not getting discouraged after your launch. Now, this is really easy for me to sit here and say with this particular launch because I'm very happy with how it went. I'm very happy with the amount of people re-enrolled, and also just so happy with the kind of people re-enrolled. They really are the ideal clients that I identified in that work in the first few videos we did together in this series, and they have been so engaged. They've been getting amazing results inside of the membership, seeing huge wins. The energy in there feels amazing and just how I envisioned it being. So I really feel like my launch went incredibly well, and I am so grateful and happy about that. But there have also been times where I've had launches that haven't gone well, launches where I have completely missed my goals. And I think it's really important to reiterate what I was kind of saying towards the end of my last video that I posted in this series, which was that you have to have a level of detachment around your launches, and you have to look at every launch as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to see what works and what doesn't work, and then to take that knowledge and apply it to your next launch and continue iterating until you get better and better at launching and selling. So I really want to drive that point home because I know what that's like. I've been on that other end of things where the launches don't go how you want them to go, and you feel like you're terrible at this, or that you'll never have a successful launch again, or ever if you've never had one, or that you must have really messed up, and you really can't do that. You have to be in this for the long game as an entrepreneur. You have to be willing to continue to grow and iterate and improve over time. So even if you have a launch and things don't go how you planned or how you wanted them to go, still celebrate that you finish out a launch, because a lot of people pull the plug on launches. I can't tell you how many times I've seen entrepreneurs, especially newer entrepreneurs, pull the plug on their launches entirely. It's really sad to see, because sometimes things are working and you can't really see them working before the launch is done, but also sometimes you do have a completely failed flop of a launch, but there's so much wisdom to learn from that. And if you never let yourself get to that point, you can never truly understand what worked and what didn't work out of a launch. So that's just some words of encouragement for you. If you are someone who has recently or is currently experiencing a launch not going the way you want it to, just know that there's so much wisdom in that and so many opportunities to learn and grow. And also it's just kind of part of the job description. It's almost a rite of passage for us entrepreneurs. It's like you haven't really been an entrepreneur until you've had a launch completely blow up in your face. And on this note, this is such a minor thing in the grand scheme of my launch, but I thought this was really interesting. If you remember when I talked about my marketing plan and my content strategy for phase 3 of my launch, which was that last week of the launch where I was actively promoting the Wealth by Membership and the cart was open, I said in there that one of the things I was going to do was I was going to create 2 YouTube videos that promoted the Wealth by Membership, where I had like a call to action for the Wealth by Membership in them, and that would be some of the content that was going up in many different places, but those were 2 pieces of content that was going to be part of my content strategy. Those videos did happen. They went up as planned to my YouTube channel, but they tanked. Like, they did not do well. I think in the first few days of each of them going up, they each got 30 to 50 views, maybe. And that is not the norm for videos like that on my channel on that topic. Those videos tend to get probably about triple those numbers, like so 120 to 150 views, somewhere around there in the first few days of being posted on my YouTube channel, which is still a relatively small channel, but it gives me a little bit of reach. It lets me speak to like 100, 150 people at a time with a video. That was not the case with these videos. They did terribly. And I remember in the moment during my launch, I was getting a little frustrated with that, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not reaching the people that I wanted to reach on that part of my platform and that part of my audience. But things were going so well in other parts of my launch that I really didn't care, and I was able to really lean into that level of detachment very easily. This might have been harder to do if things were not going as well as I wanted in my launch at that point when those videos went up, but I like to think that I would have been able to pivot or just shift my mindset a little bit from that standpoint. But I wanted to bring that up with you. Maybe my launch could have gone even better. Maybe I could have hit 50 plus people in the membership if those videos had actually been seen by more people. But for some reason, the YouTube algorithm just did not favor those videos. It didn't show them to a lot of my existing audience or any new people on YouTube. And that's kind of a bummer. I think they were really amazing, powerful videos, but ultimately that's out of my control, and I have to acknowledge that. And this is again why having that level of detachment in your launch is so important, because you could do everything right. You could make the most amazing pieces of content. You could put things up the same way you've put up things before and then hear crickets. And it's not necessarily that no one's interested. It's just that maybe sometimes the algorithm on certain platforms is working against you, and that just happens. And sometimes we don't know why, and sometimes we don't have control over that, but you have to still show up for things and try your best. This is really important, I think, especially for newer entrepreneurs watching this, to understand why it's so important to diversify your platforms that you are marketing on, and especially to build your own email list, because that stuff will be in people's inbox no matter what. Whether they actually look at it, that's up to them and up to your ability to write subject lines that people want to click on and open. But it's a really good idea to have at least a couple platforms you can be promoting on. If you are just promoting on one platform because you were just getting started and you were like, I do not have the bandwidth, I don't have a team, I don't have the strategy, I don't have the systems in place to easily repurpose content to various platforms, then I want you to understand again the importance of persevering and the importance of not being too attached to the outcome of your launch, because again, there are just some things that you can't control. And if I had only been promoting the membership on YouTube, this would have completely broken my launch. Just my lack of reach on those videos. So not putting all your eggs in one basket in terms of where you're marketing, having at least 2 different places. I always say like one social media platform and an email list. If you're newer in business, making sure those 2 are areas that you're able to show up in and talk to your people. If not, having at least multiple, like YouTube and Instagram or YouTube and Facebook, something like that, right? Like having different places where your content is going up so that if one place kind of screws you on your visibility, you're not totally out of luck. You can still reach people elsewhere. So strategically, diversify where you are marketing your content. And from a mindset perspective, make sure you are just really reminding yourself that you do not have control and this is all a learning experience. Now on that note, I have been reflecting over the last couple days of what would I do differently in my launch, or what could I have done better in my launch? Because even though my launch went well and I hit my goal, there's always room for improvement. I would say that the area that I think I could improve most on would be giving myself more time in my launch. This launch, and I know I said this in an earlier video when I was establishing my launch timeline, is that it was very truncated. And I made that decision knowing it would be a very busy few weeks of work for me to get everything done on time for this initial launch period. And it was. There were several late nights where I was working much more than I typically like to or want to in my business. And honestly, there are times where I felt a tiny bit burnt out by it. Overall, things went well. Clearly, the whole launch came together very well, and the whole membership is set up beautifully. People are loving it in there. The space is amazing, the energy is amazing, the engagement is amazing in there. So I'm not at all mad at any of this. I don't regret any of it. But if I were to do this sort of launch again, I would have given myself maybe an extra, honestly, like 2 to 4 weeks to get this all done. And that would have been much, much more comfortable to do. The reason I say this is because I think a little bit of my marketing content quality for phase 3, where I was promoting the Wealth by Membership, suffered just a little bit. It was still great, don't get me wrong. It clearly got the job done. I think it could have been even better. And I'm not beating myself up and saying it wasn't good enough, I did a crap job. I'm still very proud of the content I produced and created, but I think I could have polished it even further. I could have, if I'd had more time, I could have sat with things and polished things up a little bit more. I could have maybe even created an extra piece of content or two to be included. I just feel like there was room for improvement in that area for me. But again, clearly this all went well. Clearly the content got the job done. I think that the next level version of me that I'd like to embody would have given herself more time. But yeah, so that's it. That's really the Launch With Me series. Overall, everything went great for this launch and initial enrollment for the Wealth by Membership. I'm so pleased with how everything turned out, and it's been so fun to get to document this whole process with you all here. So thank you for being here. Again, if you haven't, go get the free document that outlines my entire launch strategy in the link in the description below this video, and also use that same link to go purchase the VIP upgrade for this series, because it is full of so many golden nuggets of information and wisdom and insights that I shared with the VIP participants for this series, and I would love to get to share it with you for a steal of a price. And of course, if you've been watching the series and you're like, I want to join the Wealth Vibe, come join us. I'll put the link for that in the description as well below this video, and you can go check out the Wealth Vibe sales page. You can go see if it feels like the right fit for you. If enrollment isn't open, you can join the waitlist to be notified when it is, because like I said, enrollment opens at the end of every month, and I would love to have you come join us for the next month in the Wealth by Membership. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like this series, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the awesome stuff I have coming for you in the future. And I would love to hear from you in the comments, especially since this is our last video in the series. How did you like this series? What are you taking away from it? Do you have any thoughts or wins you want to share with me? I would love to hear them and get to connect with you in the comments below. I'm always here cheering you on and wishing you so much success in your business and in your launches. I'll talk to you soon.